Welcome to the Houston Roundball Review Takeover on lunch break, powered by JM&E and also courtesy the BS3 Network. I am, of course, Kris Gardner, KG, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. Let's get into it. Got a action-packed 55 minutes and change, as we usually do here on this Thursday, this lunch break edition, this Throwback Thursday edition of the show. But this is my show, my time. Thank you for joining me. Momentarily, we'll be joined by head coach Lindsay Edmonds of the Rice Owls. She has some good news to share. In case you haven't heard, I'll let her share that with you. We're going to talk some Celtics Heat playoffs, game 2, good or bad of not playing defense or elite three-point shooting by Miami, some UH men's basketball, some HCU news as well, some TSU news. A lot of different stuff here on this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover. Let's get into it. I'm just going to say this. Salute to the Miami Heat for making a franchise record 23 three-pointers out of 43 attempts to win Game 2 in Boston. 111-101. I don't know what it is with Miami against Boston. I don't know if it's Boston's blasé defense, lack of defense. I don't know what you want to call it. But Miami has made 50% of their threes against Boston the last few playoff matchups, going back to last series playoffs. 50% of their threes 4 times. 4 times. That's hard to do from 3. It's hard to do it from 2, but to do it from 3-point range, Miami has made at least 50% of their threes on 4 different occasions. No one else has done that in the playoffs, even once. 4 times Miami has done it against the Boston Celtics. Head coach Joe Mazzulla, his answers kind of surprised me. Take a listen to this.
2 completely different games from game 1 to game 2 based on the schemes, and so we have to adjust to that. More switching on their part, higher pickup points, got to fight for spacing, less obvious 2-on-1s, and so got to get to our spacing quick and play out of that. And defensively, obviously they made a conscious effort, the free reign to shoot more. And I thought, most of those were, moderately to heavily contested. And so we're going to have to make the adjustment on some of those.
Moderately to heavily contested. That's Boston head coach Joe Mazzulla's perspective. Now listen to this perspective from Jason Tatum. A little bit different.
I give them credit. They shot more threes and they really shot the ball well tonight. For the most part, our effort, it wasn't like we weren't playing hard or connected. There were some missed opportunities, I would say, that we wish we could have back. Some open looks, some transition threes that they were just too comfortable. But tip your hat off to them. They hit some shots tonight.
Between last year and this year, they now have 4 games against you guys where they shot better than 50% from 3, which is kind of weird. What is it about this matchup that allows them to just get so hot with a bunch of guys who aren't normally that kind of 3-point shooting threat?
It's a great question. Maybe a coincidence, maybe it's not. Something we got to figure out, honestly. They hit some tough shots tonight from the 3-point line, and some were open. And it's maybe some of those easier ones early in the game got them feeling more comfortable, and sometimes those tougher shots become a little bit easier when you're already in the rhythm. But it's something that we're going to talk about.
In the second, they hit 13 threes in the first half. In the second half, did you try to adjust, or some of their non-shooters were hit. Do you have to react to that during the game? Do you just have to hope they miss? What happens when guys who don't usually hit threes and it becomes kind of a barrage?
Yeah, when you go through a game plan, it's impossible to say we're going to take away every single thing that there are certain guys on the floor that you would rather shoot than others. You know, that's any NBA game you're going to play. But guys are in the NBA for a reason. Everybody's capable. There's a lot of capable shooters out there. You know, anybody can get hot.
Anybody can get hot. Okay, that's Jason Tatum. A little bit different answer. Easy opening. Left Boston open. Their guys got into rhythm. Once they get into rhythm, it's tough to get them out of it. Somebody who might know about playing defense against opponents, letting them get into a rhythm, and what happens if once they get into that rhythm. She's played basketball. She's now coaching basketball. She's very happy coming off a trip to the NCAA tournament, but even happier because she signed a new 5-year contract with the Rice Owls, going to bring in head coach Lindsay Edmonds. Coach, I think you're still muted. I hope that's on your end, not sure at my end. There we go. How are you, Lindsay Edmonds?
I am great. How are you? Thank you for having me.
I am doing great. Thank you for joining me. And I'm going to just put this smiling picture up of you and AD Tommy McClellan. Look at that. What are your thoughts on that? Explain the process, how it worked. Did it take long? Just everything.
Yeah, no, it didn't. As soon as season was over with, Tommy and President DeRoche reached out and said that they were working on some things. They wanted me to know how much they wanted me to be here as the head coach. They wanted my staff to be here, so they were working on putting together a package and a new contract for us moving forward. And, you know, then just had some time to have attorneys look over it and all the things, but really excited about the support that they're showing, their unwavering belief in myself, but also in this program, and just really thrilled and blessed to be able to have this opportunity.
And Miss Wanda, who is a true diehard supporter of the Houston Roundball Review, says congratulations to you, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach, I got to ask this. There were rumors about Virginia Tech or other jobs. Were those legit rumors, or you were just focused on staying at Rice?
Yeah, you know what? When you do well, I think there's always going to be some attention. There's going to be some phone calls that may happen. Even when phone calls did happen, I was never 100% on board of I'm leaving Rice, right? And I feel like we have a really good thing going. I love my staff. I love the players that we have returning. So while the calls were humbling, and I'm appreciative, I also know where I'm at and how good I have it here as well. So some truth to the rumors, but never a case of like I was trying to leave.
And I'll put this up. This is a quote from AD McClellan. Our women's basketball program is the embodiment of our goal for every team at Rice, which was to achieve excellence in all that we do. Coach Edmonds' team met many challenges during the year and grew from them, as evidenced by the memorable postseason. We have only begun to see what is possible from this team. Making this commitment to Lindsay is essential as we build upon the momentum of their championship season, end quote. What are your thoughts on those words from AD McClellan?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's an honor that he thinks so highly of our program. He was in our locker room after the LSU loss in the NCAA tournament and got emotional talking about our team and our program and what it means to Rice. And at that time, he was still in the process of the men's basketball hire. And he was like, so when I'm thinking about like what I want our men's basketball program to look like, or what I want this hire to look like, I'm looking at the women's basketball team and saying, how can I recreate that on the men's side? And so those words were amazing to hear from him as well. It was awesome for our players to hear that in the locker room. So yeah, it's an honor. It's a privilege. We got to continue to work. We got to continue to grind. We want to continue to build off of the championship season. And so it's not like any of us feel like, oh, we've just arrived and it's going to be easy. But we're excited for the challenges that we know that are coming.
You've played basketball. You coached for a few years. I'm not going to age you or date you, anything like that.
Thank
But
you.
this question, this question from Rex 32. What are your thoughts on the meteoric rise of women's basketball?
I mean, it's tremendous. I love getting on my timeline on Twitter and seeing how many people are talking about women's basketball. I love seeing how many people are talking about the WNBA draft, how many people are talking about Indiana Fever now and Chicago Sky that I've never seen talk about them before. And so, again, the old saying, if you build it, they will come, right? And it's like, just come and watch women's basketball and you will fall in love with it because of the purity of the sport, how talented the athletes are in our game. And I loved hearing the numbers during the NCAA tournament of the viewing. I mean, we had an incredible viewing for a midday game against LSU. Then, being at the Final Four and seeing the attendance there. They had an open practice on Saturday for the two teams that were going to be in the championship, and there was 19,000 people at an open practice, right?
Mhm.
And they had to turn people away that were trying to watch practices that were going to be an hour of, probably dancing around and shooting. So not a whole lot. So I just think it's amazing. It's amazing for our game, and I hope it just continues to grow. We'd love to see, our attendance growing at Rice, and hopefully our run that we've made this year will make more people be in the stands when we open up next November.
What are your thoughts on the planned discussion of finally getting units paid to the teams who make it to the NCAA tournament on the women's side finally?
Yeah, again, the game's growing, right, and constantly changing and evolving. And I think if you're not willing to accept the changes, you're going to get left behind. And so I think, again, anything that we can do to increase our game, anything that we can do to increase what our student athletes receive and deserve, I think is just tremendous for us. It's just showing growth, and that's what everybody wants.
How is your 2024-25 roster looking? How many players you got coming back? And you got a freshman I know from this area who was voted the Greater Houston Girls High School Player of the Year. So just talk about your 24-25 roster.
Yeah, really excited. Obviously, losing DJ is a big piece, but only losing one off of a championship roster is really impressive, and we're excited about that. I keep telling the team, I'm not going to ask anyone to be DJ, but I need better versions of everybody next year. And so everybody just needs to do a little bit more to kind of fill that void of all the things that DJ did for us. But really excited about our incoming freshman class. We have Jill Tweehouse out of Oklahoma. She's a tremendous shooter, very athletic. Reminds me a little bit of maybe, M, she does more than just shooting. She can create off the bounce. Her team in high school runs lob plays for her, and she goes up it to me every time it works after a game. So she's athletic and she can shoot the ball and a tremendous person. So really excited about her. And then you mentioned Anaya Alexis. She scored 1,000 points this year in 1 year along in high school. And I don't care what high school team you're on, that is impressive. So she put up incredible numbers. I think she's someone who is always in the gym, always looking to get better, always looking to grow her game. And I think she has the ability to come in and make an impact on our program right away.
Coach, do you and the staff have some sort of magic dust that keeps Rice players from not entering the portal?
You want to say it's culture, and you want to say it's family, and you want to say that it's in the locker room. They're incredibly happy because that's what we work so hard to build here. We want to make sure that we get tremendous young ladies that are going to be, competitive in the classroom, in the community, but also on the court. And so we spend a lot of time in recruiting, making sure we're adding the right pieces. And then when they get here, hopefully they're happy and they enjoy who they're doing this journey with. I think the Rice degree also plays a big part into it. I think we get great basketball players, but we also have very driven students, and they all have goals of what they want to do after basketball. And that Rice degree is really going to set them up for success for life when the ball stops bouncing. So I think it's a combination of culture, our family, but also the Rice degree plays a big part of that.
This past weekend was a recruiting weekend for the coaches and tournaments across the country. How was it? I know you can't, not specific, but did you notice get more attention? That's Lindsay
Yeah.
Edmonds, Rice. They're winning now.
Yeah,
They're what?
yeah. I told my staff, I was like, man, there were so many coaches and so many people that came up to me that was like, Coach, congrats on the year. And first of all, for the coaches, I was like, okay, thank you. And I'm like looking at their chest and I'm like trying to figure out what logo they are or where they were at. And it's like, man, I don't even know this person like that, but it's tremendous that they were watching. Or parents that were like, I know you can't talk to us, but just wanted to say congrats on your year. Like we watched the LSU game, like just so many different things. And so that was awesome. We were spread out all over the country. We were in Pennsylvania, we were in Virginia, we were in Dallas, we were in College Station. So we were pretty spread out, but we were able to see a lot of great talent. The 25 class, the 26 class has a lot of talent in the state of Texas, but also across the country that we're really excited about building relationships with.
Have you finalized a non-conference schedule yet?
We are 2 games away. Our goal every year is to have it done before our season starts. And to be honest with you, we were pretty close to having that done. And when American released our preseason rankings and that we were going to be preseason third, we had some teams drop on us. And then throughout the season, despite, ups and downs of the season, we try to, build away at our schedule and get it done. And so then after the season ended and the way we ended things, people are not knocking down our door to play us. So we are still 2 games short, but really excited about the other pieces that we have. We're going to have some high caliber teams at home. We have a couple of return games, obviously, from this year that I'll already address. But Gonzaga came to us this year, so we have to follow up and go to Gonzaga. Georgia Tech came to us this year, so we follow up and go to Georgia Tech. And then we were at Houston this year, so Houston comes home to our place. And so those are our home and homes, working on contracts for everything else. But those are the definites. But we have some other talented teams in there. We're going to be in a Thanksgiving tournament that we're excited about.
In Cancun, Coach. Go ahead and say it.
In Cancun. So I can't wait to take the team there. That's going to be an awesome experience for them. I normally have them over to my house every Thanksgiving that we've been here. And this year on Thanksgiving, I was like, okay, y'all, before we have dinner, I want to let y'all know, I love doing this, but next year we're not going to be able to do it. And they're like, what? Why? Why? And then Dominique goes, are you pregnant? And I was like, what? No, I am not pregnant. But what would that have anything to do with having y'all over for Thanksgiving? But I was like, no, we're going to be in Cancun, Mexico playing basketball. And they went crazy. So that was pretty awesome to be able to tell them that. So we're excited about our non-conference. It's going to be challenging, but hopefully gets us prepared again for the American and being able to make a run that we know we want to make.
Now, do you know who you're going to face in the Cancun Challenge?
We do, but I don't know. Well, we've been told verbally, but we don't have contract signed on it yet. So we'll announce that as soon as we can.
Okay. One more question from Rex. What are the differences you've seen coaching in the AAC as opposed to coaching in CUSA?
Yeah, I think the teams are just deeper. They're more athletic. They are bigger. And so the talent level is definitely an increase. I think that obviously we're traveling to new places and new destinations. So learning what the travel looks like. Also, what was really tough, I think, about American, especially for Rice student athletes, was in Conference USA, we played Thursday, Saturday, every week, no matter what. With American, we played on a Tuesday night, we played on a Wednesday night, we played on a Thursday night, we played on Saturdays, we played on Sundays, and that's all based on TV, which is tremendous. But it also creates just kind of chaos in the schedule because you never know when's your next day off, when is it coming, what is that going to look like? For us, we always told them in Conference USA, make Monday be your hardest days because we don't play again until Thursday. Make it be your hardest days academically because we don't play again until Thursday. But that just wasn't the case for American. And we found that to be a little hard on our young ladies as far as their classroom goes. But teams are more talented. I think they're deeper. They're more athletic, stronger, faster than they were in Conference USA.
Wrapping it up with Rice Owls head coach Lindsay Edmonds. You touched on this earlier. Have you noticed a boost? Have you been told about a boost in attendance season ticket sales for this coming season?
Yeah, we have heard there's been some season ticket sales that are already happening, which is tremendous. I think some of earlier this year than there were in the years past. But definitely want to continue to grow that in whatever way that we can. Right now we're planning on starting out with a bang with a home game to open up, and we need a huge crowd here, but we'll try to make it be like a championship night and unveil our banner and maybe even present the girls their rings or something to hopefully get the crowd really excited about the season. They come there, we win this game, and then they keep coming back for the whole season. It makes such a huge difference when there's people in the seats, when there's student section. The North Texas game last year, I know we lost it at home, but the whole football team, it felt like they were there and they were yelling and they were loud, and it just added so much to the environment for our young ladies. And so I hope we can continue to build on that. They deserve it. They work hard. I'd like for them to be able to play in front of a lot of people every night.
Thank you, Coach. And once you finalize details about that opener, just let me know, and I'll share it here. If you want to come back on before that game and talk about it, you can feel free to do that too. I'm
Awesome.
here for
Yeah.
you and supporting women's basketball as best I can.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we'll definitely, once we get all the contracts in, if we want to hop back on, we can talk about the schedule. I think that would be awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Coach Lindsay Edmonds, Rice Owls head coach. Congrats on your new 5-year contract through the 2029 season. Take care.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Excellent, excellent. Always good to talk with Lindsay Edmonds, Rice Owls head coach. Going to continue the Rice Owls theme before getting into the Big 12 Houston Cougars in a few minutes. Rice Owls men's hoops. And I'm trying to get Coach Lanier on next Thursday's show. I'm also trying to get new HCU men's coach Craig Doty on, if not the lunch break, as an interview as part of the Houston Roundball review platform. So what I do here, folks, subscribe to the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. It's not just all Cougs or Rockets. To it. Jeff Martin, Rice Owls men's basketball, new director of basketball operations. He spent last year at St. John's as the director of ops, as also the assistant to the head coach. In his time in Queens, the Red Storm posted a 20-13 mark, their first 20-win season in 5 years. Next edition to more info about Jeff. I like Jeff. I gave him more shine. Prior to his year at St. John's, he spent 3 years as director of ops at Iona. In his role with the Gales, Jeff was responsible for coordinating the day-to-day operations for the men's basketball program and the head coach, while also assisting. Let me give Jeff some more shine here so I get this better for everyone to see, because I got a lot more slides with info, while also assisting with film and analytic breakdown and overseeing the academic progress of student athletes. Jack Showman is the special assistant to head coach Rob Lanier. He spent last season in that same role at SMU. He joined the Mustangs after serving as a grad assistant at Cal State Bakersfield in 22-23, where he played for the Roadrunners from 2019 and 2022. As a grad assistant, he assisted with player development, film and video. Is there film anymore? Video coordination and travel logistics. And the big man, Coach Vinny Calauti. I will learn how to pronounce his name when I meet him face to face. He is the new strength and conditioning coach at Rice. He had that same role at SMU the last 2 seasons with Coach Lanier. He spent the previous 2 seasons as the strength and conditioning coach working with Coach Lanier at Georgia State, where the Panthers won the 2022 Sun Belt Tournament and advanced to the NCAA tournament. The Panthers also made the Sun Belt Tournament final in 2022. So that pretty much completes Coach Lanier's staff. As Rex says, Rice is making moves. We're going to talk positive things today. Rex, Jerry Woodley, Rice losing staff ahead of the 8. Well, different staff, different coaches in charge at SMU now, one his own folks, because basically everybody that is on Coach Lanier's staff now at Rice, he had with him at SMU. TSU news. And let me say this. I got TSU head coach Vernetsky signed 3 players to our squad, women's basketball squad. I found out about these signings on Instagram, on TSU's Instagram page. So I cobbled info stats together best I could. So keep that in mind. First up, Davion Harris, 6'3" forward from Grambling State. Just played in 5 games last season for Grambling, averaged 5 points, 3.6 rebounds. Year prior, Jerry Woodley, what level of play is this? At SUNY Sullivan in 2022-23, she averaged 16 points per game, 14.3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, shot almost 60% from the floor, but just 52.6% at the free throw line. Next, Tiana Mathis, signed with Coach Skeet and TSU, 5'8" guard from Blinn, JUCO, last season in 26.5 minutes per game. Tiana averaged 6 points, 5.5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.3 steals, shot 43.8% from the floor. Not a great three-point shooter, something to work on. 23.8% from 3 and 62.4% from the foul line. Next, Cortland Loudermill. Not much, I couldn't find much about her. 5'8" guard. She played at North Texas in 22-23. I'm not sure where she was this past season. But prior to North Texas, she was at Panola College in 21-22. And then before that, at Oral Roberts, 2020 to 2021. Like I said, those 3 signings I found via Texas Southern Women's Basketball's Instagram page. Not anywhere else. Okay? I'm not throwing rocks. It wasn't on TSU's website. I found it on TSU Women's Instagram page. Different teams, different ways to reach their audience. Just putting it out there. Not good or bad, just putting it out there. Locally, women's basketball, Houston Christian signed Mariah Brown, high schooler. Mariah played at Summer Creek High School for Coach Danny Ott. That's who she's hugging right there, Coach Ott. Mariah led her Summer Creek team to a 35-4 record and a state semifinal appearance. Last season, she averaged 11 points, 10 rebounds, and 2.9 assists, and a block shot per game en route to all region honors. Some news. AT also has some news in terms of getting, they haven't announced it yet. He said it hadn't lasted a day or so. Signing someone from the portal. They're getting HCU women's basketball is getting folks from the portal, from the SWAC. No wonder. How about that? But here's news right here. HCU partners with Spry. Had not heard of Spry until this press release, to drive operational efficiencies and innovation. HCU Athletics announced its partnership with Spry, a premier provider of NCAA compliance and communication software. Like I said, news to me. I never heard of them until this release. This innovative collaboration aims to empower HCU's administrators, coaches, and student student athletes by streamlining internal processes, improving communication, and ensuring seamless adherence to NCAA regulations. By strategically aligning with Spry, HCU aims to optimize its operations, allowing for a greater focus on prioritizing the academic and athletic success of its student athletes, student assets. Spry provides collegiate athletic departments with a cloud-based and mobile-friendly platform that helps manage various department operations, tasks, and responsibilities such as recruiting, calendar sharing, document management, communications, NIL management, education and compliance, and more. Now we're going to get into this, but that'll be after the break. The bottom of the hour. That's what you call a teaser there, Rex. A teaser. This is the bottom of the hour of Throwback Thursday on the lunch break. the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Facebook, Fire TV, Twitch, YouTube at the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel, Twitter, and of course on Roku via the BS3 network. If you're new to the Takeover and wondering what is the BS3 network, I'm going to play this promo. It's about 90 seconds, give you an idea of what BS3 network is all about.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Welcome back to the lunch break, the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E and also via the BS3 network. If you have a Roku streaming device, just download BS3 TV. If you don't have it, you can go to bs3network.com or visit bs3tvlive.com. Last few minutes, this second half of the show. Talk some Cougs, some Big 12. First half of the show, if you missed it, Rice Owls women's head coach Lindsay Edmonds joined me, talk about her new 5-year contract she signed with Rice through 2029, the success, recapping the season, getting more attention. Congratulations this past weekend when she was out on the recruiting trail, and who has Rice coming in for the 24-25 season, and hopefully getting more people to attend the home games at Rice as well, which is all part of it. Rice, women's basketball here in Houston, Rice, Houston, HCU, TSU, is not very well attended. Women's hoops in H-Town is not, since the Comets left, is not very well attended. You got to go to College Station for thousands of folks to attend a women's basketball game. H-Town. These young ladies deserve your support and attention as well. Support these local teams. Support Houston. Support Rice. Support HCU. Support TSU. Support Prairie View. They're working hard just like everybody else, just like the fellas do. So show them some attention as well. I am, of course, KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. I knew Jerry knew the answer to this, but of course, Suni Sullivan transfer. Davion Harris transferred, played there 2 years ago. She signed with Texas Southern women's basketball, was announced last week. And I want to say this. I think I, in my brain cramping old age, deleted the slide. But HCU signed Victoria Dixon women's basketball last week. She's from Alabama A&M, Jerry Woodley, 5'5" guard from Grand Prairie, Texas. At Alabama A&M, she averaged 5.8 points per game, in 31 games as a sophomore. She also averaged 1.7 rebounds and roughly 1.5 assists and about a half a steal per game. Coach Finney recruited her when Victoria was in high school. So she's very glad to finally get her committed to join the Houston Christian Women's Hoops program. Rex says he's got something to say. I teased it before the break. He's going to get into it now. I'm curious to hear what Rex had to say about this. Earlier Thursday, the Big 12 made it official. John Rothstein announced it was a Tuesday this week about the matchups, but the Big 12 made it official, and I'm assuming the Big East Conference did also this Thursday morning. The Big East and Big 12 conferences have announced the 2024 schedule for the Big 12 Big East Battle. The Men's Basketball Non-Conference Scheduling Alliance, it's a bad word used in college sports, but Alliance, which is in its 6th year. I think this is the last year as well. Games for the upcoming season will be played December 3rd through 8th. The battle will include 11 matchups for the second straight season. The Big East will host 6 games this season, while the Big 12 will host 5. The 2024 matchups will feature 7 teams ranked in the final AP poll of the 23-24 season, including 2-time defending champ UConn. 5 of the 11 participant teams made it to the Sweet 16 in the 2024 NCAA Men's Tournament. The battle matchups are jointly determined by the 2 conferences, with the home team choosing the venue of its game. Broadcast arrangements for the contest will be determined by the national television rights holder of the home team, which is Fox Sports for the Big East and ESPN for the Big 12. Game times and TV networks will be announced when available. And here are the matchups. And I'm sure Rex has something to say about the matchups. Tuesday, December 3rd, Cincinnati at Villanova and BYU at Providence. Wednesday, December 4th, Baylor at UConn, Kansas at Creighton, DePaul at Texas Tech, Marquette at Iowa State. Friday, December 6th, Georgetown at West Virginia, and Xavier at TCU. Saturday, December 7th, Kansas State at St. John's, and Butler at Houston. The Houston Cougars will host the Butler Bulldogs. Butler. And then Sunday, last but not least, December 8th, Oklahoma State at Seton Hall. Rex asks the question, how we ended up with Butler, and how did Baylor end up with UConn? I go back to it. Let me go back to this right here. The battle matchups are jointly determined by the 2 conferences. The 2 conferences decided who's going to play whom. That's what I can say. That's how it happened. He says an old AAC rivalry was sitting right there. Rex, how many, and this is some shade on the Big East, even though they have the reigning champs. Well-deserved. UConn is the king of the mountaintop. But how many elite teams are in the Big East? One of my buddies texted me when he heard about the matchups. Said there are 3 top-tier teams, top-tier matchups in this Big 12 Big East battle. There are 3 elite teams in the Big East. How many are now in the Big 12? It's 11 games right here. there will be 16 teams in the Big 12 come July 1st. There's no Arizona here. That's another elite team. Another indication in the way too early elite matchups, top 25 matchups. Top number 1, Kansas. Number 2, Houston. Number 3, Iowa State. That's how it's been in the polls. Predictions. Baylor, Arizona. Big 12, way too early, may have 5 top 10 teams next year in the preseason poll. 5. That's 2 more than the elite matchups for the Big East. So because of the number of teams and the matchups, you can't have a whole bunch of elite matchups in this battle. Heck, I'd love to see the Cougs play UConn. But what's left after you get Baylor and UConn? Marquette at Iowa State and Kansas Creighton. What's left? Who else is there? So that's part of it. It's kind of a bummer. Rex says he'll take Marquette. From a Coug perspective, I understand that. But then what would Iowa State say if they got Butler? What are we supposed to do? why do we get Butler? Or why do we get blah, blah, blah? That's how it is. Even St. John's. Because of Patino. That's how it is. It's one reason why this Big 12 Big East battle, I think, will not be renewed after this season. There are people in the Big 12 who don't see a benefit top to bottom for playing these other Big East opponents. How many of the other Big East teams are ranked 26 to 50 in the net? How many Big East teams are ranked 101 and higher in the net? That's things they don't want to discuss. They don't want to face those teams again. And the Big 12 is going to go to 20 conference games. So it's going to diminish the number of non-conference games that on the men's side that they will have. And unfortunately, there will be some coaches who won't schedule a lot of elite teams in the non-conference because they believe the Big 12 men's hoops is such a grind. It's a gauntlet. So they don't want to schedule too many elite teams in the non-conference. Rex says this. Too lopsided of a matchup. I would like to see Big 12 versus SEC because of reason rivalry. TV said no. Network said no. Isn't it? Who is it now? SEC is facing what? The ACC for their challenge. It's just one of those things. I'm not a fan of it. I don't know. I haven't heard specifics of who else the Cougs will face non-conference. Might not be a lot of elite matchups. I prefer more elite matchups. I don't like conferences, coaches in these great conferences relying on just their conference schedule to strengthen their net. Challenge yourselves in a non-conference. Give fans what they want to see in the non-conference. Get fans excited about your team by facing other good/great teams in non-conference. The Cougs will have that in the NIL event in Vegas in November, that Thanksgiving week, I assume. Waiting for that to be finalized and announced, but that's going to happen, as far as I know. It has not fallen through. Houston will be participating in that NIL MTE. Final moments here. Going to have more specifics on this, speaking with Mr. Alvin Franklin on Monday. We're going to discuss this in more detail. Cougs on the Road Summer Tour. Miss Wanda, Rex, the Cougs on the Road is coming to a location near you with a coaches caravan featuring Cougar coaches and administrators, including Houston men's basketball head coach Kelvin Sampson, football head coach Willie Fritz, Houston VP of Athletics Chris Pesman, and other special guests. First one, May 6th in Coppell, co-hosted by the DFW Alumni Network and Jason McCann, class of 91, CEO of Very Space Coppell, address 450 North Freeport Parkway, 3rd floor suite, Coppell, Texas, zip code 75019, taking place 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central Time, Mr. Gibson. Then, May 8th, in the Woodlands, co-hosted by Cougs in the Woods at Landry's Seafood House, Woodlands, address 1212 Lake Robbins Drive, Woodlands, zip code 77380. Time also 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. June 18th in San Antonio, co-hosted by the San Antonio Alumni Network at the Hilton Palacio Del Rio, address 200 South Alamo Street, San Antonio, Texas, zip 78205. Again, that one takes place 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And there's one more, June 19th, Webster/Clear Lake area, co-hosted by the Houston Bay Area Alumni Network, Lewis Jewelers, 19335 Gulf Freeway, Webster, Texas, zip 77598, 6 to 8 p.m. All of the events are free to attend. One more time, are free to attend. However, attendees are kindly asked to register at there's a website. Going to say it. Hopefully you can see when you watch the rebroadcast, the on-demand version of the takeover. But giving.uh.edu/SUMMER-TOUR. So 4 stops, Cougs on the Road Summer Tour. I wonder who the special guests will be. Because you notice who they mentioned as being there. Coach Sampson, Coach Fritz, Chris Pesman. Didn't mention, I won't say anything else. But anyway, I'm going to put this up. It hasn't changed. But just a note. UH men's hoops roster as of last week, April 17th, 2024. And the veterans, returning veterans. I'm going to talk about Malik Wilson. Rex. He is coming back. He is back. Hell, he hadn't left. He was working out yesterday in the gym at the Guy V. Lewis Development Center. Not sure if there's going to be a running back social media post for him, but yes, Malik is back. So barring some changes, yes, there will be 14 Cougs on the roster, 13 ships, but there will be 14 Cougs on the roster. Somebody won't be on scholarship, but will still probably have the NAL take care of their education at Houston. And one more thing as you close it out here on this edition of Throwback Thursday, the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E. Composite poll ESPN.com and 24/7 Sports. Put up the names so you can see this again. But it's about the class of 24 high school seniors. Houston's incoming freshmen, Chase McCarty and Mercy Miller. Both of them are now in the top 100 rankings of 24/7 Sports and ESPN.com's rankings. Mercy, before the season, was outside of the top 100, like 101, 105, something like that. In the end of season, he's at like 68 in ESPN. Chase is like 76 in the 24/7 Sports one, something like that. But 2 top 100 recruits are joining the staff, the program, this coming season. And let me see, because I forgot to make it a slide, but let me see if I can. Here we go. This is from ESPN about Mercy Miller. Miller hovered right outside the top 100 all year. He plays with an edgy competitiveness and combines shooting, toughness, driving, and passing ability. His footwork is fundamentally sound, and he's comfortable playing from a jump stop when he's not owning the paint. Miller is willing to make open plays as well as the gritty plays necessary for winning basketball. A humble, diligent player, Miller will be a strong defender for Kelvin Sampson. That summary sounds like a Kelvin Sampson player. How about that? Top, I think Mercy 68, like I said, in the ESPN poll. The only thing about the prospects, nothing official. Y'all won't be disappointed. I'll just leave it at that. But nothing official. Many of these 25s will announce their college choices at the end of this summer, the end of the AAU/grassroots games. And I think the Cougs might get 1 or 2 commitments at the end of this summer. And you will not be disappointed. Speaking of this young man, I'm not expecting him to announce Houston, but Chris McDermott, the 2024 winner of the Guy V. Lewis Award, will announce his college choice Friday evening, Friday, April 26th, at his high school, Booker T. Washington High School. Got that info courtesy of my man Jim Hicks, cheat sheet, rcssports.com. Known Hicks for 20 years. He and I are members of the Guy V. Lewis Award Committee. But yes, Chris McDermott, 6'7", versatile big man. Again, winner of our award, the 24 Guy V. Lewis Award. Winner of the Houston Chronicles Boys High School Greater Houston Player of the Year. Will announce his college choice Friday evening, April 26th. So I'll be there. Obviously, got to support my winner of our award, so I'm going to be there. I'll share it on my platform, share it hopefully on the Guy V. Lewis Facebook page and Twitter account, as well as, of course, on Houston Roundball Review, on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, YouTube, etc. That'll do it. A little bit earlier than usual, but as always, thank you to everyone. Rex 32, CA 37, Miss Wanda, Jerry Woodley, for your comments. Thank you for taking time out of your lunch break to spend with me on this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, on FireTV, on Twitter, and of course on Roku via the BS3 Network. Give a salute to everyone for your questions and comments. And of course, got to do this, do a better job of this. Let's see. I'm going to do it because I forgot to do it. So let me do this real quickly. But always remember this, folks. Get you your Houston Roundball Review merch. Get like this mug. Take a sip. Cheers. Or like this cap. Different colors available. Not just red, cherry red, or something like that. If it's called that, cherry red. Or like this shirt. This gold color shirt right here. Houston Roundball Review. Get this shirt right there. Gold Roundball Review. Local name, global perspective. Get that. Looks like I'm powering down here on the Wi-Fi. Don't know what happened there. But recapping from the top of the show, Boston, Miami. Boston lost 111-101 to the Heat. Listen to Joe Mazzulla, head coach, about what he said about the game.
Games from game 1 to game 2 based on the schemes, and so we have to adjust to that. More switching on their part, higher pickup points, got to fight for spacing, less obvious 2-on-1s, and so got to get to our spacing quick and play out of that. And defensively, obviously they made a conscious effort, the free reign to shoot more, and I thought most of those were moderately to heavily contested, and so we're going to have to make the adjustment on some of those.
Most of those were moderately to heavily contested. Miami made 23 threes out of 43 attempts. Moderately to heavily contested. Jason Tatum said something a little bit different.
They shot more threes and they really shot the ball well tonight. For the most part, our effort, it wasn't like we weren't playing hard or connected. There were some missed opportunities, I would say, that we wish we could have back. Some open looks, some transition threes that were just too comfortable. But tip your hat off to them. They hit some shots tonight.
Between last year and this year, they now have 4 games against you guys where they shot better than 50% from 3, which is kind of weird. What is it about this matchup that allows them to just get so hot with a bunch of guys who aren't normally that kind of three-point shooting threat?
It's a great question. Maybe a coincidence, maybe it's not. Something we got to figure out, honestly. They hit some tough shots tonight from the three-point line, and some were open, and it's maybe some of those easier ones early in the game got them feeling more comfortable, and sometimes those tougher shots become a little bit easier when you're already in the rhythm. But it's something that we're going to talk about.
In the second, they hit 13 threes in the first half. In the second half, did you try to adjust, or some of their non-shooters were hit. Do you have to react to that during the game? Do you just have to hope they miss? What happens when guys who don't usually hit threes and it becomes kind of a barrage?
Yeah, when you go through a game plan, it's impossible to say we're going to take away every single thing. There are certain guys on the floor that you would rather shoot than others. That's any NBA game you're going to play. But guys are in the NBA for a reason. Everybody's capable. There's a lot of capable shooters out there. Anybody can get hot.
So who do y'all agree with? JT or Coach Mazzulla? Were the shots moderately to heavily contested? Or Miami got comfortable because it got a lot of open looks? And once you get into a rhythm, once you get confidence, it doesn't matter if the shot is contested or not. So who do y'all side with on that? JT or Coach Mazzulla? Caleb Martin from Miami, 5 for 6 from 3 in game 2. He's not a great 3-point shooter, but against Boston, he is. He's shooting like 47% from 3. Against everyone else, like 32.5% from 3. Hell, Duncan Robinson, who is a supposed known 3-point shooter, was 2 for 7 in game 2 against Boston. Hey, what's Highsmith made 3 threes last night? 23 for 43 from 3. Were they a lot of open looks? Were the contests really good? Were they lazy? Was it hand down, man down? What do you think about that? Because what I saw third and fourth quarter, I saw a lot of hands down. I didn't see moderately too heavily contested threes for Miami. Yeah, pick and roll, Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo, it's tough. Because what you going to do? Go back to it. When you got pick your poison and a well-run pick and roll, you really can't stop. You got a big man who can make shots, a guard who can penetrate and shoot from the outside, either or. What you going to do? But for everyone else outside of Hero and Bam, were those shots from 3 really contested? I don't think so. That'll do it for this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E. Streaming live on Facebook, on YouTube, on FireTV, on Twitch, and of course on Roku via the BS3 Network. I am, of course, KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. Get you a mug, get you a cap, get you a shirt. Support the Houston Roundball Review by purchasing some Roundball Review gear. And as always, since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review, local name, global perspective. Y'all take care. Peace.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Thursday, April 25th, 2024. Number 1, while former President Donald Trump returns to a New York City courtroom where he is charged with 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in connection with hush money payments, another set of attorneys will be in Washington, D.C. to make his case for presidential immunity before the United States Supreme Court. The nation's highest court will hear arguments surrounding the question, can a former president be prosecuted for crimes while in office? While judicial observers don't think the Supreme Court will give Donald Trump absolute immunity, one of 2 decisions is expected. Number 1, the president will be immune from legal action in foreign policy and national security matters, or the Supreme Court may remand or return that case to a lower court. Number 2, Dalton, Illinois Mayor Tiffany Henyard faces investigations by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot and the FBI for alleged misconduct and misappropriation of funds. Recent investigations reveal lavish spending, nepotism, and a budget deficit. Henyard's personal security cost $250,000 annually, and her credit card statements show extravagant trips and expenses. Trustee Brittany Norwood welcomes the FBI inquiry amid concerns about questionable spending and a lack of transparency. Number 3. On April 10th, the Daily Mail reported NBA veteran Nate Robinson admitted he doesn't have long to live if he can't get a kidney transplant. The 39-year-old former Knicks guard announced in October 2022 he'd been dealing with renal failure and had been undergoing treatment privately for 4 years. Read more about Nate Robinson in today's health update. Number 4. Brought to you by our partners, Black Voters Matter. Social justice contributor Coy Malone continues her series on the road to Election Day and what happens when an innocent woman is charged with election fraud. Crystal Mason cast a provisional ballot while on supervised release for federal tax evasion. The African-American woman was sentenced to 5 years in prison, but the Tarrant County, Texas Appeals Court recently overturned that conviction after determining there was no evidence she knew she was ineligible to vote, a condition necessary for conviction. Number 5. Mandisa. the successful Christian recording artist and former American Idol contestant, passed away last week at the age of 47. Police are investigating her death, though she had previously battled depression. Mandisa openly shared her struggles with depression and weight gain after her best friend's death, and she released a memoir in 2022 detailing her trauma and mental health journey. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. For those of us who are true believers, know that God is in control, so we just let things play out. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with our mental health and wellness contributor, Aprilette Russell, as we discuss today's top headlines and more. I'm Sybil Wilkes. Be informed, be empowered.